today's video, we are getting real. A lot of you who watch my videos, you are either a new agent, you want to get into the industry, and a lot of you get to the point where you got your license, you've got your broker, and then you're asking yourself, okay, what's next? Now, the beautiful thing about that is we have all been there. I've been there. I found success pretty quickly. I ended up making my first $100,000 at just 22 years old doing real estate here in Los Angeles. And today I want to go back to that time and break down how I got my first set of clients. If you are new and you haven't gotten your license yet and you're watching this as a pre-license journey, the #1 place to get your certification is through Colibri Real Estate. Now, that might seem like a shameless plug, but truthfully, guys, I used them when I got my license at 20 years old. And then I also used them to do my continuing education to renew my license in 2023. If you use my code dreamliving.la, 40% off will be in the link below. Plug aside, let's hop into the prospecting. So this story starts back in 2019 when I was 20 years old getting my license. And full transparency, my first year in the business was not smooth. I started when I had just turned 21. I was still doing school full-time at UCLA, although it was remote. And then I was trying to learn how to sell real estate when we were in a shutdown during COVID. So it was a lot to navigate. So it wasn't until my second year in the business, when I turned 22, that I started to see the fruits of my labor. And I'm gonna share with you 4 different directions that I went that all ultimately brought me my first book of clients. First one is to pursue expired listings. My first listing ever, and actually my first real deal ever, was through an expired listing. Now, what is an expired? Just real quick, an expired is a listing, a home that was on the market for sale with another agent. They didn't have success, and so it came off the market without selling. And think about, how can you set yourself apart? I sent marketing materials. I tried to door knock. I would try and call. I sent handwritten follow-up letters. And I ultimately got a handful of listings and listing appointments that year just off of expired listings. These are low-hanging fruit. These are people that have told the world that at one point they did want to sell. Now, they are a tougher client. They're usually a little more emotional. They have been through a lot. They're feeling the trauma of selling a house and going through that experience with an agent that didn't have success with them. And so you have to be gentle with how you approach those listings and those clients, but that is a fantastic way for you to get your first book of clients, and it's free information that you can pull off the MLS. And just for fun, I'm gonna pop up on the screen the first deal that I ever had. It was a single family home in West Los Angeles, adjacent to Brentwood area. I ultimately sold it for a $1,580,000. So at 22 years old, freshly 22, I had brought in a gross commission income of $33,000 and change just from that one sale. The next avenue that I took that brought me my first real buyer was social media. In fact, my first handful of buyers all came from Instagram specifically. This is the beauty about social media. Perception is everything. And they always tell us, don't believe everything that you see on the internet, and that is true. You should always remember that. However, I was brand new. I didn't know anything about real estate. I was learning just as much as you were, and I really wasn't an expert in my field yet. So what did I do? I started Googling common questions about buying and selling. What are people wanting to know? What should I know? Pulling those questions, asking my manager for the answer, Googling the answer, and then I would come on and make Instagram reels and videos about the home buying and selling process. And over time, that created this perception that I was an expert when I had really not done much business at all at that point. So if you're starting, social media is so important, not only for brand recognition, but just in marketing in general, and it's going to back you up when you have real life interactions. Listen, when you meet a new buyer or a seller, you have a listing appointment, you run into someone in a coffee shop, and you have a great conversation with them, they're going to look you up online, and what they see is ultimately going to determine if they trust you and want to work with you, or the opposite. Now, bouncing off of my first few buyer transactions, you want to remember that you need to treat your sphere like a diamond. Now, I heard that recently at a real estate conference, and it has stuck with me since, and that is going to be my third pillar. Your sphere, your past clients, no matter how few there are when you're brand new, you need to cherish them, love them, and give them the best service that you can ever give them, because they're going to become what I like to call raving fans. And raving fans tell their friends and family and colleagues about you and about their experience. So I got a handful more of transactions that year from my buyers raving about me to their friends and colleagues, who ultimately bought a house with me as well. And number 4, that still brings me success to this day, is open houses. But especially when you are brand new, open houses, you are literally sitting in a home with people who want to buy coming through your door. Now, oftentimes, a large majority of them are going to have agents already, are going to have representation already. That's okay. You still have the exposure of practicing your conversations, learning what the right questions are to be asking. Get to familiarize yourself with real estate and different homes in your neighborhood. It's an opportunity to film and create content when you have a few minutes of downtime in between clients coming in. However, the cherry on top is every once in a while, you're going to have a buyer come through that's unrepresented and wants to work with you to buy a home, or in a perfect world, they want you to help them buy that specific home that you're sitting. And this is exactly what helped me bring my gross commission income up to over $100,000 at just 22, is because I had a client walk through a listing, and that listing never sold, guys. It was an overpriced listing that I thought I was wasting my time with, but it was a marketing opportunity. And I might not have sold that listing, but you know how many transactions I closed from just sitting an open house there? 2. And one of them today is looking to buy their second house, which is going to become a 3rd transaction. So this all compounds over time. The work that you put in when you're new compounds over time for success. When you feel like you are at the very rut of it, your business, you're at the bottom, you're struggling, you're not seeing results, the business is not coming through, remember that that is when the tide is going to turn. My biggest advice that I could possibly give to you at any stage of your real estate career is you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. In fact, that is actually my mantra for 2025, not to be, a little ridiculous and cheesy, but there will be a day where you have a wake-up call where you ask yourself, why am I not doing these things? Why am I not cold calling? Why am I not door knocking? I know why, it's uncomfortable. You will have a day where you realize that those decisions are holding you back, and I promise you, the more that you do them, the more comfortable they're going to become. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you want one-on-one mentorship or coaching, I do offer private one-on-one calls in the link down below in the description. Again, if you want to get 40% off your real estate certification course, I will link that down below as well. And lastly, if you guys have anyone who's looking to relocate, move, buy, sell, invest in Los Angeles, or if you're a new agent in Los Angeles and you need someone to come onto a transaction with you to coach you, I'm happy to be part of that process. So with that said, have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video.